in a few minutes we're going to have the Bhakta Prahlada classes, which are held at the ISKCON temple on Saturdays, where young children of all persuasions, not just Indian children, but young children of all persuasions, they learn how to do plays, recitals, dancing, all based on the Vedic scriptures, which are the oldest scriptures or literatures, or spiritual literatures on the planet. So the Bhakta Prahlada classes are run by devotees, volunteers. So I'm not quite sure who the volunteers are, but it looks like there's some very anxious mums well, mostly mums down here. So can we, for the teachers who brought these kids to this wonderful stage where they can actually perform in front of you, can we have a round of applause for the teachers who spent months and months teaching them? Come on, everybody, for the teachers. Okay, so today the children are performing a drama, and this is based on a very moving story about Sudhama, or Sudhama Vipra, and who's a devotee and a friend of Krishna.
When Krishna descends from this eternal world above in the spiritual world and appears to this mundane world as he did 5,000 years ago, he engaged with others just as he was an ordinary human being. Although he is unborn, he appears to have a mother and a father. In the village of Vrindavan, Krishna plays as a cowherd boy. He enacts the pastime of his own transcendental pleasure to attract all the suffering living entities back home, back to Godhead. Sudhama was among the devotees who were childhood friends when Krishna in his school. Krishna left Vrindavan at 16 and later he married and went to live as a king in Dwarka. Meanwhile, Sudhama also got married and was living as a Brahmana, which means one who knows the real self-spirit and dedicates his life of being a spiritual guide of the whole society. Now let us see what's happening in the life of Sudhama.
In Sudhama's thatched hut, Sudhama's wife is sweeping and doing her prayers.
Sudhama was a very smart Brahmana, friend of Lord Krishna. As a perfect Brahmana, he was elevated in transcendental knowledge. Because of his advanced knowledge, he was not at all attached to material enjoyment.
Service of the Lord with pure love and devotion. Sudhama's wife gets up and goes to her husband who is reading the scriptures. Oh my Lord, I would like to ask you something.
Yes, what is it?
Is it true, Sri Krishna the Supreme, the husband of the goddess of fortune, your personal friend?
Yes. We sat at the ashram of Sandeepa Muni. Oh, I feel so happy remembering those wonderful days.
Even if you're thinking that you do not render any service to him, you're still surrendered. And Krishna is a protector of the surrendered soul. He is always ready to protect his devotees. He's your only shelter. I'm sure he'll understand your impoverished condition. I'm sure he'll not hesitate to award you some material benefit.
But I do not want any material benefits from Lord Krishna.
Please listen to me. Lord Krishna is now sitting in Dwarka. It is said he bestows to all prosperity and material enjoyments on his sincere devotees.
These material benefits are not very desirable.
Please listen to me. Even if you do not ask anything from him, you can still let go see your friend.
In this way, Sudhama tried to convince her husband to go to Dwarka. Finally, Sudhama agreed.
All right, I'll go. Besides, if I go, I shall see Krishna face to face.
Yes, it will be wonderful for you.
But I can't ask him for anything. Rather, I'll take him a gift. What?
We have nothing.
Well then,
I'll go and find something. Sudhama Krishna's wife goes to the neighbor. She returns with a few handful of chipped rice tied in a torn piece of cloth. Here, this is all I could find.
This is all we have? Some dried chipped rice?
I'm afraid so. Please be careful on your journey. Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Sudhama sets off on a journey to Dwarka.
In Dwarka, residential palace of Krishna and Rukmini with guards outside. In Dwarka, residential palace of In Dwarka, residential palace of Krishna and Rukmini with guards outside.
Krishna. There's so many guys and gods here.
Sudhama in his happiness forgot everything. The guards tried to stop him. Suddenly Krishna appeared upon seeing his dear friend. He ran forward and embraced Sudhama with great pleasure and with tears of joy.
My dear friend. Nice to see you. Please sit down and remove your fatigue.
Krishna welcomed his friend in different ways. He personally washed his feet and sprinkled the water on his own head and Rukmini's. He anointed Sudhama with sandalwood and other scented paste. After that, he offered lamps and incense. Srimati Rukmini, the goddess of future, fanned Sudhama.
Who is this poor Brahmana? Look at his torn and dirty clothes.
Obviously, this Brahmana isn't an ordinary person. He must have performed great pious activities. Otherwise, why would Lord Krishna take such care for him?
Yes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has embraced him as his own brother.
Krishna and Sudhama sat down and happily talked about the time they had spent together in the school of their guru.
My dear Sudhama, remember those days when you and I were living together as a Gurukul? Remember the time when you lost our way when we went out to collect wood from the forest?
While collecting the dried wood, we entered deeper and deeper into the forest until it became dark.
Yes, and then there's an unexpected dust storm. Dark clouds, lightning in the sky, and the explosive sound of thunder. Then there's a severe rainfall.
The whole ground was flooded, and we could not find our way back to our Guru's ashram. We felt greatly pained, and in whichever direction we turned, we were bewildered.
In that distressed condition, we took each other's hands and tried to find a way out. We spent the whole night in that way.
Early the next morning, our Gurudev, along with some of his disciples, came to search us out and found us in this distressed condition.
By the grace of the spiritual master, one can fulfill the purpose of life.
In this way, Krishna and his friend talked for a long time. Then suddenly the Lord smiled and said,
Dear Brahmana, what gift have you brought for me? Whatever my devotees offer with pure love pleases me. If one offers me a fruit, a leaf, a flower, or even water, I accept it.
Sudhama felt very embarrassed to show his simple gift and kept his head bowed down. Then Krishna snatched the little bundle of chipped rice from Sudhama.
Chipped rice? My favorite. I consider this quantity of chipped rice will not only satisfy me, but will satisfy the whole creation.
Lord Krishna eats one palmful of chipped rice. He's about to take one palmful of chipped rice. The goddess of the future stops him.
My dear Lord, you're so kind also of your prayers pleases you greatly, and your pleasure assures the devotee great opulence eternally. Now please leave some for me, my friends, other queens and servants.
Sudhama Brahmana passed the night in the palace of Lord Krishna. The next morning he had started for his errand, thinking continuously about the grand reception by Krishna. Sudhama had apparently reached no wealth from Krishna, but just being with the Lord he was completely satisfied.
Sudhama on his way back home.
Seeing Krishna is so wonderful. He's a supreme Brahman himself. Yet, he invites me to his own chest with heartfelt pleasure. He, seeing me tired, Srimati Rusmani began to find it with her own hand. She never considered her exalted position. Now, I realize if the compassionate Lord even grant me a little world, I might neglect the search from his lotus feet.
Thinking in this way, the Lord Brahmana Sudhama gradually reached his own home. Upon reaching there, he saw that everything was wonderfully changed. An opulent palace stood where his rustic hut had once been.
Where am I? Whose palace is this? Where is my cottage?
Sudhama's wife comes running. She's beautifully dressed and bows down to her husband.
The supremely opulent chief of the Yatra dynasty, Sri Krishna, has showered his mercy on us.
With tears in his eyes, Sudhama comes forward and shares his thoughts.
My dear friend Krishna, I am sure he knew I secretly wanted to beg from him. He said nothing about it when I stood before him. Yet, just like a merciful rain cloud, he showered me the most abundant riches. He accepts and glorifies even a little one by his devotees. He was so happy even with a little chipped life. Oh my dear Lord, I pray that I might serve you lovingly life after life.
Sudhama realized that although Lord Krishna is unconquerable, he nevertheless agrees to be conquered by his devotees. Sudhama did not change his devotional practices. He continued to study and preach the glories of Lord Krishna. By constant meditation on Lord Krishna, by constant meditation on Lord Krishna, whatever darkness, material contamination that still remained in his heart was completely cleared away. And shortly, Sudhama was transferred to a spiritual kingdom, which is the goal for all saintly persons.
Hare Krishna, thank you. This was the performance based on the story of Sudhama and Krishna. Just wanted to introduce the characters who performed this. Please bless this little Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to go ahead in the devotional life. Firstly, I wanted to introduce Krishna, was enacted by Saransh. Boda. Sudhama by Ritvik. Sudhama's wife Ashrita. Rukmini Devi by Bhavani. The servants, servant 1 Anirudh, servant 2 Krishna Priya, servant 3 Shama, and our 2 wonderful narrators, Sarveshwar and Gopal. Thank you, thanks a lot.